All right, good morning, everybody. I want to come on and make another video about something that isn't really mentioned, especially in the travel community. In the travel community, to go straight to it, I do believe Egypt could be, or actually is, one of the cheapest countries to live in. I think a lot of people underestimate Egypt because I know Egypt has a reputation. It has a certain, I'll say, a certain, yeah, call it reputation of being a country that is filled with a lot of scammers. The reality is, if you come to Egypt to hit tourist destinations, as other countries like as well, right? Likewise, you will come across people that will try to obviously they know you're a foreigner, so they will try to up the price on you just for you to have your experience or whatever you wanted to do. But aside from that, I've been living in Egypt for the past 8 months and some change. And based on how things are, based on how I've lived, based on the areas that I've been to, the places that I've lived in, this is our second apartment here in Egypt. So I've only moved once. Well, actually, yeah, I've moved once in Egypt. And I just want to go through a quick overview of, I wish I had some sort of I wish I had some sort of receipt to show you guys how much I've spent since then, but obviously I don't. Quickly take some lemon and water. You guys should take some lemon and water in the morning. So first, let's cover visas. When I came to Egypt, I paid $25 for an entry visa, and the visa lasts for a month. So I know recently the cost has changed to $30 a month, $30 for 1 month. So yes, I know a lot has been changing. I'm sure a lot has been changing because of the conflict that's next door, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Visas, yeah, was $25. I have not really come across anybody who's experienced any fluctuation in the prices anyhow, because I know how funny the system can be here. Yeah, the system in Egypt can be very funny sometimes. So I know I know a lot of people even on YouTube who've mentioned it. I know people like, if I'm going to mention Eddie, and his YouTube channel is No Limit Eddie. He's talked about how the visa situation is very straightforward, which I would somewhat agree. I've only had an issue with when it came to me extending my visa. This was after a month. I know the first time I went to the place, to the passport immigration office, and all the things that we were supposed to do, but it seemed like it was just a time, or it was just a situation whereby you had officers telling me to go here and here and here and here without really, all we did was go from this place to this place to that place to that place. It told us to get copies of birth certificate, copies of our passport pages, our visa pages, something that they could have told us at once, and they didn't do it. So that was a bit inconvenient. Not a bit, actually, that was very inconvenient. So I feel like that's something they could improve on, or they should improve on. But all in all, the visa situation is, yeah, they still give you, it's funny. The first time I got my visa extension, it went for 6 months. And then the next time I got it, it went for 5 months. So I've heard a lot of people go through the same thing. So we might have to look into that at another time. But so visa situation, that one is covered. Again, to summarize it all, it's pretty straightforward. Especially if you're new, it's pretty straightforward. To extend, that depends. That really depends. Secondly, we're going to talk about housing, cost of living. Housing, I would say, outside places like New Cairo, like Medinati, Rehab, all these hotspot cities. I want to say Giza is a hotspot city. I mean, it's only the Giza pyramids, but if you're outside the hotspot cities, expect to pay. I mean, for a 1 bedroom apartment, expect to pay 70 to $100 a month. Yes, expect to pay that amount because our last house, if you guys look back at my videos, you guys know that, or you guys should realize or see that I was in a different place. So that place was about, if I can remember, 200 a month. It was upwards to 200 a month. So between 180 to 200 a month. So honestly, that was quite affordable. I know a lot of the local Egyptians don't pay that amount. So, but it was, excuse me, it was affordable. It was affordable. I could say that. Moving here, we're closer to the city. So we're paying upwards of 400 a month. And this is a 3 bedroom apartment. So now, well, actually we have family over. So that's why it's like that. So it's upwards of 400 a month, which is better than most places around the world, especially in Africa. Because I know West Africa, I know some parts in East Africa, East Africa, East Africa. I would say a place like Kenya, not to blow the place up, but a place like Kenya is starting to get expensive because of the constant influx of the foreigners getting there, and a lot of them are, buying property and apartments, and a lot of them now want to make it as a business, Airbnb. So you can expect them to kind of up the price. It kind of ruins the market for Kenya. It does ruin the market for Kenya. But that'll be a different video to talk about. There's a lot of places in Africa. Usually, certain regions in Africa, it's expensive. I know South Africa is known for its affordable living, cost of living. So, again, going back to Egypt, housing is quite affordable. Let me just say that it's quite affordable. Of course, you have to do your assignment. You have to. It's very important that you come here knowing somebody. Very important. You don't want to come here. I know a lot of people who've come here. I know personally. They've came here and they didn't have a good trip because they didn't come here with some sort of guidance. They just came here spontaneously, which is not bad, but you want to also do your preparation and your homework before coming to a place like Egypt. Because again, that's just how you would avoid getting scammed. You need somebody who understands where you're coming from. You need somebody who knows what you want, the kind of range, and yeah, they'll be able to find a realtor who's just trustworthy, because a lot of realtors here they're not very trustworthy. Just to mention that to you guys. So, excuse me. I know a lot of you guys may have in mind, as far as utilities, we're talking about electricity, gas. What else is there? What else do we pay for? Electricity, gas, internet. Well, internet is not part of the rent, so that's a separate bill. But for internet, we pay about 400 Egyptian pounds, and that gives us 250 gig of internet. So if I'm going to convert 400 pounds to USD, that's a few dollars, honestly. That's a few dollars, maybe between $10 and $20. So yeah, the internet lasts us for a month and some days. So it's pretty affordable. In terms of electricity, I know the last bill we paid was about 300 Egyptian pounds for the month. So again, it's pretty affordable. Pretty good lighting. We've not had any, so far, electricity outages. So that's a good sign. As well as gas, because our gas is, I know the system is here. I know the system here is more like, the gas here is installed by the government. So Anyway, for gas, we paid about 200 a month, 200 EGP a month, Egyptian pounds a month. So again, everything is, to summarize it all, Egyptian cost of living or living in Egypt is actually cheap. I think a lot of us don't realize it. We don't mention it a lot because of the reputation Egypt has, which is quite understandable. So, I mean, it's useful if you want to be here for some couple of months. Egypt is pretty peaceful, and that's one of the things I like about living in Egypt, is its peacefulness. You know, I just love the idea that I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry. I don't have to wake up and worry about somebody trying to attack me, or some random, I don't know, some random situations. The kind of stuff that we hear, you know, when we were living in our respective places in the States, at least. So that's one of the things why I just prefer being here. Again, society seems to be in order. It's just a reality. You know, I can see that there's not much of a democracy here, and I do see there's a lot more benefits to that than, you know, if this place were to be like a fully democratic state. I mean, I guess you could call it. Do people really consider this place a democratic place? I might have to search that up, but you know, it's pretty peaceful. Everyone seems to move in order. You know, I prefer being here for as long as I want. I just wouldn't find Cairo to be preferable as in the city to stay in. So I'm still working on trying to go into El Guna, Hurghada, Aswan, you know, the north. I've been to Alexandria. Alexandria was nice. I guess I may have to try living next to the sea for a while, like 3 months and so. But we'll see about that. But again, I'm making this video for why Egypt is one of the cheapest countries to live in. It's not mentioned that much, again, because of its reputation. But if you guys do your assignment well, it's actually very, very, very affordable. Of course, a lot of people may not be looking into Egypt at the moment because of the conflict that I mentioned in my first few seconds of the video, being that it's next door. It's just next door. We're just next door to that other country that I know that's leading the conflict. So yeah, funny situation. But I know recently I've been seeing some helicopters. I won't mention too much. I've been seeing some military looking helicopters for the past couple of days. They've become very numerous in number. So I mean, this time you won't really hear it, but when it hits when it's like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., then you start seeing helicopters flying here and there, flying just in numbers. So that's a funny situation. But alongside that, outside of that, I wanted to come on here, share you guys. I know I've missed on a lot of points that I should mention. I guess next time I should have a note. I should have some sort of paper or some sort of note that would allow me to cover the points that I need to cover. So I've covered housing, electricity, utilities, rent, food. Food is affordable. I mean, if you're going to, food could be affordable if done right. You know, for me, I don't really have a problem anymore. You know, I feel like one of the underrated skills to have while traveling is knowing how to cook. Just knowing how to cook, it's very affordable. I mean, it's a very useful skill. So, because I know mostly people that come from America, from Europe, or people in general, even the locals here in Egypt, they use something called talabat. It's actually a platform, call it Amazon, but it has foods. You can order foods, you can order groceries. So people use that you can actually order. Those are dogs. You could actually order groceries. You could actually order food from restaurants through the app, through the Talabat app. Talabat is what the app is called. And I'm not using it too much. I'm not really interested in it. There's local food chains around here, so I just go out sometimes not every day. I know just right downstairs they sell like not a pastry, but it's a food made out of beans and potatoes. And then they have, they have fries. It's more like a mini McDonald's sort of thing, but they have their own sort of menu. So sometimes I go there. And I eat some food, but most of the time I just cook my food at home. It's just the most affordable choice and the healthiest too. We could talk about that in another video. But I'm gonna stop here for the meantime. If there's anything that you guys believe that I missed out on, just let me know. Just any comment that you have, feel free, and I'll cover them in the next video. I know one thing that I have to make sure to keep in mind, but because I've been busy for a while, is I need to start heading out to more locations. Yeah, more outdoor locations. But I'm starting to realize something very funny as I've lived here. When it comes to filming, really, again, I won't mention too much, but I've gotten some feedback on going out to record in more outdoor locations. So I'll figure that out. I appreciate that feedback. So any other comments you guys have, any other criticisms, let me know. I'm open to it. And yeah, hope to show you guys a new world of traveling. I have some other upcoming plans, so I'm not gonna mention too much, but just stay tuned, and you guys will see me in the next video. Peace out.